Welcome to Korhal Floating Island, spawning in the bottom left-hand position, the red Zerg from Kespa Team 8. His name is Savage. Can he close the series out for his team?
His opponent, spawning on the top right position, the master of force fields, spawning as Blue Protoss. His name is Bong, playing for CJ Entus.
Alright, so Korhal Floating Island. It looks like they have spawned in the positions where it'll lead to a more normal opening. The alternative cross spawns on this map, you actually your expansion is diagonal from you, and it's still on the high ground. And then there are two paths that can lead into that expansion and main base area that also have destructible rocks that you can kill off. I have to say that was actually like such a sick addition to StarCraft. It makes really cool maps like this actually possible, because well, as you know, you can close and open up pathways now instead of just one.
Imagine in the future we get an 8-player map, and then you could spawn in at different locations, and the map plays out differently.
Oh my!
With the 4 spawns.
That just got really confusing in my head, man.
Well, I'm not saying they're gonna do it, but you know, it is a possibility.
It is. It's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
14 pool opening from Savage. Very standard opening against Protoss. Sometimes Zergs, they like to go for greedier hatch first openings, but that does not come without its vulnerabilities. You can be easily cannon rushed if you're caught off by surprise.
Yeah, so usually they just go regular into 14 pool, and Bong, let's go into ace match.
Is that what that sign's saying?
Yes.
Alright, well, we got a CJ Entus fan there. He wants to see that ace match. I'm really curious to see who they would send out in the ace match, because they could send out Argo, they could send out Cure. It really just depends who CJ would want to send out, I think, from Team 8's side.
Yeah, and it really depends, because they could send out either Hydra or Effort, but they actually lost their respective matches today. So
yeah.
They're going to be feeling down right now, so I think Hero is
they
going
have
to
Hero,
be
though.
the best decision. But Team 8 can also guess that and work against Hero by sending out a sniper.
That potentially they could send out maybe Terminator. Even though he lost, he could still be sent out, I think. Argo definitely could be sent out. You can just tell when Argo played like how good in condition he is, because he like executed his build so perfectly. It's like, well, this guy has clearly been playing non-stop this entire break.
And like, because he played so many times, he didn't make a single mistake in that execution.
Yeah.
If you don't, I mean, you might know a build and you might be able to execute it, you know, sometimes here and there, but unless you practice it so many times, it's not going to be perfect every single time.
Makes me wonder how many times he actually did that build.
A lot of times, I guess.
It's like 100. Well, it could be actually a lot more than that. Like, we don't know. But
well, I'm wondering who he played against. Was it against Ty or Cure? And how many times did they lose to this build?
True. Well, it didn't play against True, but I agree with your statement.
Well, it seems like Korean OGN stream is also agreeing with us with the possible Argo versus Hero for ace match.
They are the ones that looked the strongest today, although I have to say Cure looked incredibly strong as well, but he did lose, he's not the best against Protoss. That does seem to be his weakest matchup.
Or was it because they wanted to see Hero again on the camera?
That actually was probably it.
6 times today.
Yep. I like that you're keeping count there. Alright, so far, nothing special has really gone on this game. We are getting a Stalker being made from our Protoss player here, from CJ, Bong, of course. And the third hatchery for Savage has just finished over here. Stargate opening from the Protoss as well, so this is something that is very standard nowadays, and we see almost every game against Zerg.
Yeah, and there's more variety. They could go for the Phoenix, but they could also go for the Void Rays and then just mass up the Sky Toss army, get to third base, cannon up, turtle, and just go for huge push and win the game. And if Zerg player spots that, they need to be really aggressive on the map.
Yeah, even they can go for the Oracle, and I've yet to see Protoss players really use the Oracle like they have been recently in PvT. You know, really using that revelation ability to, you know, show where the units are on the map and track their movements.
Well, the thing is, first of all, when you make an Oracle, you want that to do some damage against the drones. But the queens are already in position. They're so fragile, so it's hard to do that. But hold on a second. We have a Roach run finished, and we don't have any layers. So it seems like Savage, he wants to do some critical damage to his opponent.
There we are. The Roaches are in production right now. There's 2 Stalkers that are going to move up here, so they're going to be able to spot what's going on here pretty easily. And as soon as they get whiff of these Roaches coming out, actually, the Zerg player, is he going to get supply blocked? Yes, the supply block does go down. The Roaches are going to come out now, and it looks like Savage's strategy is going to be discovered here. This is actually the 3rd high pressure / all-in build we've seen in a row from Team 8, so it looks like they're heavily relying on these kind of openers. And 5 Overlords actually in production now. The deal with these units, Void Ray being built as well because, hey, look at this Bong. He sees the Roaches coming out. He needs to have some type of response for them.
Yeah, Void Rays are perfect, but you also need to make sure that the Roaches do not get inside. Void Rays, they kill Roaches, but it's slow. The Roaches can get inside and kill everything else. When Void Rays start killing Roaches only 1 by 1, really slow. And behind this Savage, knowing that it was scouted, he gets a layer right after. So this is only going to be some pressure, and he's not going to commit to it completely.
He has to do some type of damage here. Nexus Cannon going down as well. With the Void Ray out, those Roaches got to hightail it out of there. This attack is going to kill 1 cannon, and that's pretty much it. And a lot of Overloads are also going to be lost for Savage as well. So essentially, coming from this attack, he's going to be pretty far behind, actually.
Yeah, he's doing a really nice job with the Phoenix, and Savage did not pay attention to his Overlord position. With so many Protoss players going Stargate, if you're a Zerg player and if you're starting out, you need to put the Overlords next to the Queens on top of the Spore Crawlers to make sure that you don't get supply blocked.
Exactly. Now the lair has finished. Hydralisk Den going down as well. We're going to have a little bit of harassment on these drones here. Nice control from Bong. And we do have the Robo and the +1 on the way as well behind this, although the +1 is just about finished. So I am curious to see if we'll have a timing attack from Bong, or if he's just going to play it safe and get his 3rd and bring it into the macro game. We do see an Observer and a Robotics Bay being built as well, so most likely he's going to go into more of a macro game, and we'll eventually take the 3rd Nexus, which is what he does right now.
Loses a Phoenix with the harassment, and also losing a 2nd Phoenix. A little miss micro there by Bong. He overcommitted right next to the Queen and the Spore Crawlers. It's good to get the drones, but you don't want to overcommit because you want them for the late game to also, snipe more Overlords around the map. Or if your opponent goes for Infestors, which has been showing up a lot more recently, lift up the Infestors and kill them.
Yep. All right, well, looks like this is going to be transitioning into more of a standard mid-game. Protoss getting his 3rd base. Twilight Council behind that, so he's going to get, Blink. He's going to get, more upgrades. Actually going for the Double Forge, something that's definitely become a lot more common since the Infested Terran nerf back from a few months back. So it seems like, getting those extra upgrades for your ground army are now completely worth it. And actually, look at this. We have a Hive on the way, 11-minute Hive. That's just straight up very, very fast.
Yeah, well, he knows that he didn't deal that much damage with the Roaches that he had. All he forced out from his opponent is 1 Void Ray. Do you see any other unit out there that he forced out, or even a pull from the probes, or so many cannons at the natural?
No, I did not.
Exactly, so that's why he's going for the Hive, since he can't stay in this stage a lot longer because he knows that the Colossus is going to come out pretty soon, so he needs to go for the Hive right now.
This is actually the first time I've seen Roach speed started after the Hive started. As you can see from the production tab there. Also looks like the Hydralisk speed and range upgrades are being worked on right now. I'm sure one after the other. +2 range attack is also on the way as well. Now, the thing is, this Protoss army, it's going to become very powerful later on in the game. And Savage, I guess, he's going for that very fast Hive to try to combat that with, some Vipers early on. He could definitely get those. Those added in with the Roach Hydra army are actually very good against a Colossus-based army if there aren't too many Void Rays out on the field.
Definitely. So he needs to find the right timing to attack into his opponent's space. If he goes in without the Vipers, he's going to lose for sure. He's building these evolution chambers. Really smart play, using the consume on the evolution chambers to get the energy up, to get the abduct and the blinding cloud. This is so perfect play by Savage. Seems like he practices a lot on ladder.
Absolutely, with the 3 Vipers almost complete here, with the Hydras also being the anti-air. It looks like The Phoenixes, they're just going to be annoying, try to snipe off a few more workers here, and they're actually getting a good amount there. He was able to get 4, and the Hydras are just a little bit too slow here, unfortunately, for for Savage, not Cure.
Yeah, but now he catches the Phoenixes off guard, and he does take out 2 Phoenixes, but will he get a Viper? Seems like he's so close, and gets away at the last second.
Manages to barely keep that Viper alive there, but the Vipers have been revealed as well, so that's going to be something that Bong is going to have to be very concerned about. If he can have a very strong ground army, then he should be okay. But look at this, our Zerg player, he's already essentially maxed out right now, and the Protoss player still, he only has 1 Void Ray, so he doesn't really have a lot of anti-air, and he has 3 Colossus, which I think what Kier's going to do, he's just going to grab them with the Vipers and just, drag them into the main Roach Hydra army. And now it looks like we're going to see a very strong timing. The +2 attack is almost done. Will Savage move in before that attack is completed? I think he is going to. Here we go.
He needs to be careful. Feedback on all the Vipers, and the attack is pretty much deflected. This was what I was hoping would not happen to Savage. I saw the Templars come out. Did Savage knew about the High Templars? That was the biggest question when he pushed out. And the Vipers were in perfect position for Bong to feedback at the last second. They were also full energy because of the Evolution Chambers.
Yeah, so unfortunately that the Viper strategy did not work there. The thing with Vipers is they're so good, but if you have those High Templars, then you can use the feedback on them, and they're big units. It's not like Ghosts that are kind of hard to feedback in that main bio ball. They're like big red X targets in the air that are saying, hey, I am here, feedback me.
Yeah, and he was just waiting for the Vipers to get in position. It was a huge trap. Now, Savage is doing a nice job with the Roaches going around, but once Protoss army gets to 200, it's kind of hard to beat them without the Brood Lords.
Yeah, so these oh, look at that. Nice recall at that 4th expansion there. These Roaches are going to have to run out of there immediately. Nice forward blank by the Stalkers, trying to trap some of them, as well as killing off a few extra ones. And it feels like, with the +2/2 getting almost completed, charge on the way, storm almost completed, this Protoss army is going to get so deadly. Yeah. And I'm not sure if Savage has the right unit composition to really deal with this.
Doesn't. Going for the Infestors isn't the answer. The Colossus are out. The High Templars are out. Going for the Ultras, I feel like, is a better composition here. He doesn't have that many Immortals, maybe, a few Archons here, but the Ultras and Heart of the Swarm, they deal extra damage compared to the Wings of Liberty. So going for the Ultras right away is the better answer than going for the Infestors, but let's see how Savage plays this one out. He'll be able to get the Nexus, no problem, but he's also giving up a hatchery at the 9 o'clock position and also giving up the middle.
Yes, it does. He's able to cancel that hatchery here, but now it looks like Bong, he wants to move in here. Those Vipers, they have to be very careful. He does not. Oh, excellent abduct. Those Colossus are all going to go down immediately. Excellent blinding clouds as well. Storms going off on all of the Hydralisks now, though, and that Zerg army gets completely obliterated. Holy crap, excellent control from Bong there. Those abducts were amazing, but unfortunately the DPS just wasn't there for that Zerg army, and now I think we're going to see a slow death. Well, maybe not slow. I think a fast death, actually, for Savage.
Remember how people were saying Zergs cannot go for Hydras because they're so slow and they get killed by Colossus and High Templars? The Storms just obliterate everything. And using the fungal to delay his opponent from pushing in, yes, that's good, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, some excellent positioning here, actually, from Savage. Will this buy him more time, though? That's the real question. The Roaches and the Infestor combination can work pretty well against this. More feedback going off on those Vipers, though, so they're not going to have any energy here. The Colossus, the Archons, the Stalkers. This is such a deadly unit composition, and without any units like the Ultralisk out, I just think that there's nothing that Savage can do against this army. Bong, it looks like he's going to take CJ into an ace match.
Yeah, the biggest problem is he couldn't get the Colossus. 2 more Colossus were added in at the last second, and pure Roach does nothing. The Infestors aren't as strong. The Infested Terrans are so weak, and those Vipers are now doing nothing.
Oh, forward blink, killing off both of those Vipers there, and now I think this is pretty much it. This is the last of Savage's army. GG! Bong already rushing out of that booth, man. He looked so solid in that game.
I mean, you also have to count the fact that Savage went for the Roach pressure and it really didn't do anything, which put Bong really far ahead. He got the he got the tech up, and then he also had the Templars for the Vipers at the perfect timing. That was one really scary timing for Bong if those 3 Colossus were abducted and taken out, because he only had the Gateway Army and the Sentries to defend against Hydra Roach. But the feedbacks saved the day.
I feel like Savage, that game, he was unpunished essentially afterward when his Roach attack didn't work, but he was certainly punished for those Vipers. The High Templar tech path was just a perfect choice, and you could see Bong's understanding of that matchup by how solid he played, and he was just ready for everything.
Yeah. The feedbacks, the storms were perfect. He had the right unit composition for what his opponent had. Savage, I think, going for the Ultras and then trying to buy a little more time could have worked out, but Bong was still far ahead, and it's a possibility, but it's never a reality.
Yes. All right, guys. So now we're gonna have to find out, or at least start speculating, who